दिल में वो भूख था कि मुझे कुछ करना है. We have trained more than 75,000 plus students. I have deleted that word as failure. It is a learning from. I sleep for 4 hours in a day. I work for 12 to 14 hours in a day. I have only one meal. अगर आपके पास वो भूख ही नहीं है, भूख मिट चुका है, you will be in a comfortable zone. Focus more on job ready and interview ready skills. Everyone, welcome to I'm a Recruiter podcast. I'm your host, Prafula. I'm thrilled to have you with us today. I'm a Recruiter is more than just a podcast. It's a movement by talent acquisition professional for a talent acquisition professionals. We are here to shake things up and help K recruiters evolve from a traditional role to a trusted talent advisor. Our vision is to build the most influential global community for TA professionals, and you are the heart of it. If you're getting value out of our content, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, and also let us know what you think in the comment section. Let's build the community together. With this, I would like to welcome a dynamic and visionary Aatish Bhalerao, who has almost 15 plus years of experience as a strategic leader and an entrepreneur in edtech and sports tech and business solution. He's specialized in transforming ideas into an impactful venture, focusing on redefining employment and promoting physical literacy. So with this, Ati, so much for your time. We are really excited for today's podcast and to have you in our show. Welcome, Atish. Thank you so much, Prafula. First of all, before we begin, let me congratulate you for the forum which you have created, which is I'm a Recruiter. Trust me, this was definitely needed. We definitely need our HR folks to come together, join together, not just national front, but also on the global front to expedite and change the dynamics of not just recruitment, but HR as a whole. Yes. Okay. And thank you so much again for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be a part of this amazing forum as well. Awesome. Great. With this, it will be completely about your journey. So we'll try to learn from your journey, how you have grown in your career, how you have shifted to an entrepreneur journey from a 9 to 5 job. So the whole discussion will be around that. So just to begin with, so can you quickly brief what you are currently doing with two of your organization, which you have built currently? Great. Thank you so much, Prafula. So I am currently a founder and director of TrainingInbox EdTech Private Limited. We are an EdTech company. We focus more on job ready and interview ready skills. People talk about soft skills and hard skills, but if you want to accommodate those soft skills and hard skills, how would you present that? And for that, we are creating a category of job ready and interview ready skills. That's what TrainingInbox does. TrainingInbox, we have our existence in more than 65 major cities of India, 10 other countries across the globe. We have trained more than 75,000 plus students, working professionals, job aspirants. As of now, we are associated with more than 100 plus institutes, and also we are partnered with more than 500 plus global companies. This is a small bit of TrainingInbox. When we talk about Phylpt, Phylpt is very close to my heart. So I've been a sports person. I've been an athlete, captain of under 14 cricket team, and somehow I got an opportunity to explore my profession also in the same. So what do we do in Phylpt is, so PHYLPT. So PHY stands for physical, L stands for literacy, stands for program, and T stands for technology. Okay, PHYLPT. So we are probably launching in the next 2-3 months. Our products should be out for the consumers to adopt. So what we are trying to do is, we are trying to engage into physical literacy right from the age of 3. So if you understand the screen of our kids, most of our kids are there on their mobile phones, gadgets, and so on. How do we use that particular stuff, or how do we use that screen time in more efficient manner? And not just that, but using that through a physical activity would also provide you certain data point which we can create the future who will participate, not just your mohalla, your city, your state, your school, or your country, but at a global stage. Awesome. Okay. If you understand the problem, what we are trying to solve, we are a population of 144 crore, but less than 200 athletes participated in Paris Olympics. Yeah. Why is it so? Yeah. So that's the problem which we are trying to solve through Phylpt. Awesome. Great brief about the companies, and definitely lots of impactful, say, things you and your organization has been doing. And both the purpose are quite unique and quite different. But again, like, there is a gap, and definitely you are trying to solve for good. Awesome. So all the best for that. But having said that, like, can we go a little bit back about your journey? You also mentioned that you were an athlete in the past. Can you also know a little bit about your background, like where you were born and brought up, and about your study background as well, where you have done your education and all those things? Definitely. So, Prafula, I'm born and brought up from Pune. All right. I have completed my graduation at college, and I have also been into some international schools while doing my education, completing my education as well. So I would probably put or compartment of few things. One would be on personal stuff, one would be on professional stuff. About my personal stuff first. The first compartment, which is personal stuff, as I said, born and brought up in Pune, come from a middle class background and first generation entrepreneur. So there was no entrepreneurship journey as such. But my used to have his own small time business hotel industry. My mom was a air hostess. And that's how I was probably pushed into, because I was pushed into hotel management. After 10th standard, I did my diploma in hotel management, where I used to probably do mopping in MACD, the first outlet of MACD in May. But then I realized that, okay, that's not my cup of tea. I'm not made, I'm not made for hotel management and so on. And that's how I started pursuing I started continuing with my journey with, playing my professional cricket, also studying at the same time and so on. But probably I would say I was fortunate enough that I started taking care of my family at a very younger age because of my father's health issues. And that gave learning in terms of responsibilities. You get to learn a lot of things, you need to sacrifice a lot of things. And that's how I started my professional journey as well. But simultaneously, one very important thing which I always kept doing was studying. So I completed my graduation from Symbiosis. I enrolled myself for masters in marketing, dual specialization in finance. Even now I'm studying. So I'm studying my international, I've completed my international banking, and I'm pursuing my international business as well right now from London School of Business and Finance. This is a bit something to do with my personal background. Now, coming about my professional background, when I realized that there's a need for me to start early. So I started my journey at an early age of 16. Okay, when I say 16, yes, I started my career at the age of 16, 17, where I'm not sure somebody would be able to relate that, but I used to sell a mobile phone which is to 500 rupees, standing outside the stores and so on. And due respect and consideration of my performance, I was given an opportunity to work with a direct sales team of Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, I've always been very enthusiastic, always been a keen learner and wanted to learn more and more. So in that journey, though I was an undergrad, I was the first employee to be taken on the payroll of Standard Chartered Finance Limited with due consideration of my performance, where we were selling business loan, credit cards, personal loan were my products which I was selling, and to be taken on the payroll of the company. That's how my professional journey started. I started there in Standard Chartered Bank as a dog boy. So when we say dog boy, I'm sure you must be receiving the call saying this, sir, do you need a credit card? Yeah. Do you need a personal loan? And so on. Memory lane, there was no digitalization of documentation. So yes, somebody used to come personally to pick up your documents, and that person is to call as dog boy. Okay. So I started as a dog boy. By the time I left Standard Chartered Finance Limited, I was a unit head. And then the journey was never looking back. That's how my professional journey started. And then started with a professional banker with Standard Chartered Bank, got opportunity to work with one of the most premium banks, which is Kotak Mahindra Bank, then have worked with Phylpt in India. I was the assistant branch manager with Phylpt in India, one of the NBFCs, now called as earlier called as First India Credit, now called as Phylpt in India. From there, international exposure of US mortgage, or also I always was very keen to learn and understand a lot of things. So US mortgage, I was with the US mortgage. The journey started, I was with the Times Group, the Times of India Group as well. I was with one of the MNCs with G4S Securities, I was with G4S Securities. Then I was also being a part of a company called as Teamlease. I'm sure you might have heard about Teamlease. Teamlease is the first public company in the HR domain. There I was spearheading the business learning team leads. And then I have been a deputy CEO of one of the companies called Chetna Publications. I've been working there as a consultant as well for an organization, holistic organization development. Then I got an opportunity to work with a company called Leithen, which is a Singapore government funded company and a Singapore company, where I was spearheading the business for the entire APAC, Asia Pacific. In a very small stint with that particular organization with Leithen, I realized that why should we do it for somebody else? Why not for our country? And that's how my entrepreneurship journey of TrainingInbox came into existence. This 17th of December, we should complete 3 years of our existence of TrainingInbox. So congratulations on your journey, very inspiring journey, I would say. Just one question which I had, right? So back in your days, right, definitely not everyone have the similar journey. But when you see other kids who are kind of not from a middle class, but from a kind of little bit comparatively better than the middle class, I'm from a middle class as well, right? So when you look at them, do you also try to compare with them sometime in your mind, because you were a kid at the time, right? Are they getting those opportunities? Why are you not? Why is so much of gap? Was those kind of comparison happen in your mind? So Prafula, let me tell you one very important aspect. Irrespective of whatever age you are into, my father always taught me, accept life the way it is. Okay, you are the one who's going to write your own destiny. Nobody else in this world is going to do that. So whatever you have, accept it, and accept it with open arms. So comparison, in fact, I used to compare myself in a way that I am more competent enough as compared to others, because I did not have that out of the comfort zone, not had that silver spoon or, something which is already served on the platter. Whatever I did was done by my own self. So that journey teaches you
teaches you amazingly well. Comparison, there was no comparison. In fact, that was always a learning. Always a learning. For me, I would never consider anything. I mean, even if starting off my career at an early age of 16 was an amazing experience. Was an amazing learning experience. Okay. Everything which came across or is coming across, even in my entrepreneur. Don't compare. Don't even think that the other person has got. Why are you not? It is you who need to refine. It is you who need to write that. Where do you want to go?
Great. I can definitely relate some of the things with me. So there was one incident in my life. I was somewhere around like class 5 or class 6. And even I was kind of from a middle class background, and like sometimes we feel bad, sometimes we don't, right? So there was one night I was studying and I was feeling bad about something, right? And I cried a lot, right? Everyone in my family was kind of slept by the time, and I was studying and I was crying alone, right? And that time I realized, कि यार मैं क्यों रो रहा हूँ? Those things are not in my control. I can control those things. Why am I crying? Right? At that particular day, I decided that whatever the situation it will be, I will not cry at all, and I will try to laugh most of the time in my life. And from that day onwards, like people keep asking, who's that? You are so happy all the time. Why so? Right? So it's all about the mindset, how you think, how you perceive the things, how you grow, how you educate yourself, and all those things. So I can definitely relate lots of things. Even same like you, very young age, even my family background is something. My dad stay separately with, so my mom used to take care of us. So there is lots of need always to do and take care of the family, right? So there is always a hunger to do something new. And I was kind of a very curious from early days self, right? So I used to be a tuition teacher. There was one of my mama who used to sell potato and onion in the mandi, and I used to go and do with him as well during my holidays time, right? But there are whenever I get chance during my engineering, I also try to do different stuff like teaching students in KPOs, lots of odd jobs I even done, right? Like same like you. So I can definitely relate. So other very important thing what I've seen, people these days are not very comfortable with failure, right? Aatish? So have you seen any failure in your life, and what you do when you go through those failures?
Okay. So, Prafula, first of all, I said I started my journey at a very young age. There was a phase when there was this word called as failure is to exist. Okay. But when I realized few things, as you said, you used to cry, right? Crying doesn't make you weak. In front of your family, cry in front of your near ones, they are okay to cry. And who says men cannot cry? It's okay to cry. Okay.
Yes.
Coming back to your failure part, there was a time when the word failure used to exist in the dictionary or in my life. When those failures were getting too much on me as an individual personally, and was affecting my family, my profession, and everything, I decided to shift delete that word as failure. And I have replaced that word of failure with learning. Every movement of your life, even this podcast when we are talking about, is learning. Okay. So if you have gone through, or if you have started your career at an early age of 16, it's a learning. It's not a failure.
Yes.
If I gave up my hotel management where I used to mop in the first outlet of MACD, and I moved and completed my bachelor's in commerce, that was a learning. That was not a failure of giving up on probably my management, or else I would have not been an entrepreneur. Okay. There have been a lot of incidences there are countless incidences where a failure comes across, knocks your door many times. To provide few of them, probably certain examples, the biggest failures was, I'll go back to my memory lane of to play a decent cricket. Okay. We didn't have money to play for county in the Europe, in one of the European clubs where I was selected. Okay. But did not consider it as a failure there. That was, and how did I overcome with the same is right now I coach my school and many other students where I make them ready for preparing for county clubs. So if I consider it a failure, not necessarily that you are made to do something by your own self. Your deed, your act, your involvement, your initiatives can also probably provide you that result. So I'm happy for those 30, 35 kids who are probably going to the European county teams and playing there, European county clubs and playing there. There was a time when I used to think, I was an amazing player. I used to play. I played with Kedar Jadhav. I'm not sure if you've heard about Kedar Jadhav, the elder brother Jadhav, who was the captain of Maharashtra. We both started our careers together. Okay. So, but if it is, you get an opportunity. So if it is failure, this is one of the classic examples. Second, in your entrepreneurship journey, you will pass through, or you will go through this thin line of failure every moment. You will fail to deliver what your goals are. For example, if you want to generate a revenue as an entrepreneur, you'll fail to do that. But again, as I said, because I have shift deleted that word as failure, it is a learning from last month's non-achievement of goals to the next month's achievements of goals. Failure in times when you fail to fall on or probably give up on race to our commitments. As an entrepreneur, we go through a lot of financial crisis.
Yes.
We fail to deliver the basic things as we are generating employment to provide salaries on times. But is that a failure? Learning of how do you ensure particular situation do not arise in the next month? How do you overcome that particular stuff? So failures would come. It's up to you. How do you want to adopt that failure?
Example, and like definitely a good way to look things around. And I would definitely urge all our audience like not to see it like a failure, but think like a learning opportunity. And maybe that particular learning can move you to the next level, to your destiny, right? That particular thing at that moment might think you might feel that it's not right, but maybe your destiny is something different. Great, awesome. Throughout your journey, you have been mentioned that you have focused on learning and you have been doing different courses as well. So, along with your busy schedule, right? How do you manage your time and what have kept you learn different things from time to time?
Not everyone in the forum is going to probably accept this or like this, the things which I am going to reveal or say. If you have taken over the word failure as learning, you also need to adopt the word hunger in a different way. The hunger of learning that the particular process or your own self in various ways. Now, let me put it across in this way. As I said, I'm a first generation entrepreneur. I don't know how the entrepreneurship works, but I listen to a lot of entrepreneurs. I listen first generation entrepreneurs. I listen to all the entrepreneurs who have not been able to do justice to their entrepreneurship journey in their first generation. But somewhere they have been a second generation entrepreneurs. There are a few things which I have adopted. As I said, not many of them from the forum are going to accept this because all of us probably talk about life balance, being, your physical attributes, your, giving rest to your body and so on. Guys, if you are hungry, okay, nothing matters. To give you a certain example, I sleep for 4 hours in a day. I work for 14 to 14 hours in a day. I have only one meal. Precisely because I want my brain to be active 24 by 7. Again, I'm not saying that everybody has to adopt this, but I said that learning from failure, there was a time when I was getting a paycheck every last month of the, every last day of the month. I was also into my comfort zone. I was happy that, okay, I'm getting my salary on time. My EMIs are getting paid. My liabilities is getting paid. Fine. I'm married. I have a decent house. I have a decent life and so on. I choose giving up on that where I find an ITR of 1.2 crores for a financial year and gave up on that. My friends, my family passed a comment saying you have gone mad because less than 10% of Indian population filed an ITR of 1.2 crores and you have done that and you're giving up on that. Okay. So learning first, very important thing of learning journey of yours own should be your self-assessment. Understand skills do you possess. Come from a very basic school. I was a very shy kid in my school. My schoolmates used to make fun out of me. Tapli maar ke jana and all that stuff. They used to make fun out of me. But now when they look at me, when I host podcasts, I host a lot of live sessions, I'm there on a lot of social media platforms and so on. I realized that when I did a self-assessment about myself, saying this, hey, you know what? I need to learn first very important thing is public speaking. I need to know how to face the camera. I did this when I realized it when I did my self-assessment. Apart from this, guys, please learn technology. And to learn technology, there is a zero cost. No certification needed. No IIT brand and thappa, no ISB thappa or international university thappas are needed. If you really want to learn, go ask Google Baba. You can learn everything. Go explore YouTube. You want to learn AI? You want to learn how to use ChatGPT in a productive way? You want to learn how to use most other AI tools? Go ahead and do that. You want to learn how to how there should be an amalgamation of Gemini into your Google platform? Go ahead and use that. Learning, do a self-assessment. Always very basic, thick line here, and also an old school thought, Prafulla, which is a goal sheet. I'm sure you might have heard about a goal sheet. When we talk about a goal sheet, people say, what is this goal? You're talking about this old school thought. Why? What is goal sheet all about? Goal sheet is all about your SWOT analysis. Every step which I want to take in my career or in my life, even it is learning, I conduct a SWOT analysis for this. If I say that I want to implement an AI bot in both of my websites, I would probably perform a SWOT analysis. So understand your own self, go back to school, conduct a SWOT analysis, understand what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your threats, what are your opportunities, create STGs, short-term goals, create LTGs, long-term goals, create MTGs, middle-term goals. It works for yourself. That's how you should keep yourself learning, adopting lesser sleep, not having, work-life balance. It's up to you because that's your hunger. That's your learning.
Yes. And I can also relate this particular thing about the hunger thing, right? Because if you have that hunger, then only you will be able to achieve and go behind that particular goal, right? अगर आपके पास वो भूख ही नहीं है, भूख मिट चुका है, you will be in a comfortable zone, right? You will be like not motivated enough to do anything, not drive by any kind of passion or any kind of willingness to do that particular thing. नहीं चाहिए. Definitely same like you, how you have started your podcast. For me also, when I started this community, there was no need to start the podcast itself, right? I was very comfortable with my job. Is good, right? But when I saw that everyone is getting layoffs and I was not able to help anyone. Some I was able to help, but not everyone. So why can't we create a platform where we can learn from everyone's journey because podcast is a very good medium these days, right? People can just listen to you wherever you do, whatever you do. They can put AirPods and just hear across your discussion and learn from those discussions. Initially, when I started, even I was very much confused. I was not very comfortable as well in front of camera, same like you. But दिल में वो था कि मुझे कुछ करना है. And because of that, whatever I thought कि जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा. I was not knowing कि LinkedIn live कैसे जाते हैं. Those things I figured it out, right? मेरे पास मतलब there were responsibilities, there are EMIs, there are I need to pay to my house, lots of expenses are there, right? But in spite of all those things, if I wanted to do something, I will manage some or the other things to do for that particular thing, right? So I have done the same thing like you. So even though I'm running a community, it's similar like a entrepreneurship journey. I'm just learning the basics of entrepreneurship and all those things, right? So giving up the comfort zone is very difficult. And because of that, India having the huge population, but hardly feel that hunger. Not everyone has the mindset to come up of that comfort zone. Actually, this is the time that I have to do it now or never. How did you convince yourself? How did you convince your family members? Like definitely you have your wife, you have your family members. Family is definitely important. So how did you convince them?
So, Prafula, go back to my experience with, when I was a part of a company called as Team Lease. Okay, we were into learning, enterprise learning solutions, and then I realized doing that. So when we talk about enterprise learning solutions, my role was more about getting corporates on board, providing training solutions to those corporates, and so on. That aspect, there was a client of ours which we signed up. That was the biggest client which we signed up was Swiggy. We created and curated a training program for the delivery partners. Since Teamlease Tech Private Limited had their own university, which is Teamlease Skills University, we were able to provide them a certification program. I'm talking about the delivery partners, who may not be even a 10th standard passed out or a 12th standard pass out. We were evaluating that, creating that. So I was I was a member who was a part of curating that particular curriculum, understanding the dynamics of the learners, how the adaptability. My mind saying this, if there is a difficulty of somebody completing their training program or adopting training, I'm sure there would be a lot of bigger or a larger audience of India would also be requiring, which are graduating, would also be requiring this kind of training to become job ready, interview ready. Okay. So while in the job, I started my research. Okay. So I did not start it as soon as I realized it. Okay. The ideation of that idea was well prepared and researched, understanding what is the audience, how big is the audience, what is the market size, what could be the app product which would suit for the audience, and so on. So in my working professional journey with TeamLease, I started that ideation and research, which went on to Leithen as well. Where in Leithen, I probably realized that international companies also want to do the same thing in India. Okay. And then my interaction used to be there with college-going kids, early working professionals, and I have always been keen to understand areas. So I always used to ask them, so what's happening? Are you able to crack this? Do you think this kind of degree where we are, creating a customized training program would help you? But one thing which I realized that there is definitely a gap between what is being taught in the academics as well as what the industry requires. Interaction, kids as well, the learners as well, and also raw material. And then when they become finished goods, they were supposed to be provided to the corporates or industry. So I was taking feedback. I was the mediator between both. And then I realized there is no forum. There are definitely a lot of forums and government is doing a lot. I realized that there is definitely a gap. But somebody has to address this. But since I have ideated it, I cannot just jump into that. There's a lot of thought process which was given. As I said, market research, understanding what. So I gave up my job with TeamLease as well. I work with certain companies as a consultant, okay, to understand how the dynamics works. I worked with them for 2-3 months. And then when I realized that, okay, yes, this is the time now I need to get into actual stuff. Then we started with TrainingInbox Tech Private Limited. We started with one very important objective. That's what our tagline is, redefining employability. So, Prafula, if I have to give you certain stats, 55% of graduating students of India are not employable.
That's
not
true.
because they are not, they do not have degree, not because they do not have soft skills, but they do not possess ready or interview ready skills. 65% of working professionals switch a job, or they do not look out for a job opportunity. Because again, that's a comfort zone. There is this thought process in my mind. What if I join a new company? What if I fail? What if I'm not able to adopt the culture? What? So how did I adopted the change? That risk was not taken out of the blue moon. It was well researched. There was a proper time given. There was a strategy. There was a market research, and then that was done. So it was just a step which was taken. About family support, it was well demonstrated to the family way before that this is what I'm thinking all about. I may take certain steps into this. Maybe 6 months later, 3 months later, 1 year later, I often was being criticized by a lot of friends of mine saying, don't do that. But what happened into this kind of notion, you just have to keep going. So family support was there to a larger extent. But when you give them, so your investment. So for example, if you want to start something, the first pitch the entrepreneur, you pitch your product to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Or you pitch your company to somebody, right? The very first person or the very first members whom you have to pitch your product to is your family member. If they are convinced, because they know you much better than anyone else in this world, then I'm sure it will be easier for you to convince others. I hope I'm answering your questions in the right way
Yes,
and a right.
yes, of course. Okay, so we have spoken about your journey. So now let's deep dive a little bit about your both of your organization, right? What exactly you are doing in both of your organization and how you would like to see in next 1 year down the line in both the organization, how they will be progressing and where you see yourself as well.
Great. So let's start with my first baby, which is TrainingInbox at Tech Private Limited. As I said, the TrainingInbox is going to be 3 years old on the 17th of December. Now, whatever we have achieved, we definitely want to grow that into next right now. That's what our plan is. But for the remaining JFM, whatever revenue we have generated, we are planning to double it. So we are planning to double that revenue. So we are currently on a revenue of 6 million. Okay. So we are planning to close that at least at 12 million or something like that, the end of this financial year, which is 31st of March. Existence in 65 major cities, 10 other countries could remain the same, but the number of learners, which is students, graduating students and early working professionals, as of now, the count 1,000, we intend to gradually take it to a lack of learners. Apart from that, we are also expanding our horizon to be more focused on campus training because that's definitely a need of the hour with due consideration and respect to our education policy, which only talks about degree of completing degree. There's definitely a need for organizations like us, like TrainingInbox, who should take the step further and provide the job ready, interview ready, and placement ready skills and training to those students so that the number, which is 45% of graduating students from any stream are employable, become more employable. Okay. Simultaneously, our step is also to bridge the gap between academia and industry. Some of our initiatives are our season 2. I mean, season 1 was an amazing success. Season 2 of connecting colleges to corporates, where you were the part of the first LinkedIn live session. Apart from that, we are also providing, from the TrainingInbox perspective, we provide training at the affordable price. We make a student job rate at a minuscule price of 999 rupees, including GST, which includes training also followed by mock interviews by industry experts and one aptitude test, also incorporated with an opportunity to a live industry project, internship, and job opportunity. The same job, which is called Job Ready Program, the same Job Ready Program comes at an affordable price of 2,100 rupees, including GST only, for working professionals, which comes with all the features which we spoke about. And certain things which we are launching when it comes to TrainingInbox, launching our India's first national employability contest, where we are expecting around 1 million users to take the aptitude test. Their profiles will be showcased to all our global corporate partners across the world, across the globe. And yeah, we are also launching one of our product called as EAT, which is Employability Aptitude Test, at a very affordable price, where you can just go ahead and place your aptitude test, which is curated by 200 plus industry experts and aligned with Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 aptitude test, job aptitude test. So not sure if I may be able to put it across in the right manner, but yes, our product is at a development stage. Intend to go live with 3 months. We intend to or have a user base or a subscription base of 5,000, because Phylpt is more a curriculum based, activity based, smart variable device which would be placed on your kid's hand, and the kid is supposed to do an activity which would be captured, and our sports data scientists would evaluate that particular data and provide you these insights of what kind of professional sport your kid is more inclined towards as per his body structure. And then we incorporate them with professional training, mentorship, nutrition, and so on, and then make them the future athletes of the country who would participate on behalf of our country. So in a nutshell, this is what we intend to do for both the organizations.
Very interesting, I would say. Definitely, those kind of technologies are required because lots of things happening for the kids these days, right? And parents sometimes might get confused. कुछ तो नहीं कर सकते ना? So if definitely your product or services is going to help the parents know that this kid is aligned to these particular skills, it will be much easy for them to focus on that particular area. Personally, I have a 2-year-old kid. For me, even now, I'm thinking कि उसको किस direction में move करना है, because sometimes he is good with, he hears music and he just do dancing and all. He keep running all the time, right? So there are lots of things I want to do for him, but I can do everything for him as well, right? So there should be something which can advise area or direction I should move. So great product, I would say. On the other hand, for your TrainingInbox, 999 is a very good, reasonable price for anything. Definitely, we go out and spend more than that for sure. India may, if you give something for free, there is no value at all.
Absolutely.
Right? 99 is definitely a good value. Only one thing is like, even though people pay 999, do you see those kind of interested people getting involved? Because many people के लिए पैसा कुछ नहीं है. They can just invest and they just forget. How are you trying to give the value out of it?
So it's a very interesting question, and we face this day in day out. There are students, working professionals, pay that 999 or even pay that 2100 rupees. They don't turn up. They don't turn up. So training company vision of redefining employability, it becomes a challenge for us to ensure that we are engaged with them. Okay, and that's why our training programs are not those typical training programs where there is a PPT going on and you have been training something like that, like a typical corporate in the typical corporate world, how we used to get trained, the training where you go through the clauses of POSH and then the product training and so on. No, it is all practical driven. And one very important thing is it is live instructor led training. So the engagement ratio is towards the higher side. For example, we train on how to create an ATS friendly resume. Okay. Now, when we train on how to create an ATS friendly resume, an individual, a student or a working professional, he cannot have a single resume, but he needs to have a master resume, right? Now, there would be segmentization of that resume as per the job, as per the JD, but you need to have a master resume. So we help a candidate who's coming on our platform to create that master resume who talks about Prafulla or Aatish, and then a customized resume as per the ATS for the job which he's applying for. Similarly, LinkedIn. Most of the learners do not know what LinkedIn पे आप क्या कर सकते हो. What is LinkedIn? A job portal. Guys, grow up. LinkedIn is not a job portal. It's one of the most active social media sites in this world, active than your Instagram. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we age Prafulla? First, very important thing is ours are live instructor-led delivered training sessions. Apart from this, we keep so much engagement, irrespective of just that minuscule amount of 999 or 2100 rupees. The engagement is so much that there is an interest for somebody to come back. Give you a classic example. There's a learner of ours who was working with Accenture for a backend process. He completed his master. He wanted to work with a brand like Wells Fargo. Okay. What we told him, join our program. You continue with your work with Accenture. But at the same time, program comes with a live project. We gave him a project on finance. Work on that live project. You're completing a master's, your live project, an amalgamation of live project or master's, which makes you more job ready or more inclined towards finance. Now apply for Wells Fargo. Now he said, so Wells Fargo, I do not possess A, B, C skills. Now if you go back, Prafulla, to my thought process, which I said, goal sheet, SWOT analysis. Okay, so what we did, we created his goal sheet as SWOT analysis for a job in Wells Fargo. And then we created long-term goals, short-term goals, medium-term goals. So what he realized, if he wants to join Wells Fargo for a specific role, he needs A skills, B skills, C skills. He jotted down what skills he has. He jotted down what skills he doesn't possess. He worked on those skills, and today he's working with Wells Fargo.
Nice.
So it's an amalgamation of, and then this kind of forums you'll not get with a forum like yours. I would also like to put this across to the academic, to the academic achievers or people who are sitting in the ministry as well. A lot which we need to do because it is not privatized. There are still government bodies who are running that. So, but there's a time, there's a need for us to come out of that comfort zone or come out of those AC cabinets and speak to those students or working professionals of what exactly they are going, and then curate something. Okay, so keep them engaged. Why are these students not getting engaged? Why not like the academics? Because there is no engagement. And see, it has to be an infotainment or it has to be engaging, right?
For example, these days reels are so engaging.
Absolutely.
People keep wasting time in reels and swiping up, swiping down, and all those things, right?
Absolutely.
Education is not that engaging comparatively. What you were saying.
Absolutely. One important thing: if you give them a bite-sized learning, why don't you give them a curriculum in reels? Think about it. Think
Yes.
beyond. I mean, why do we have to? So we cannot be. See, old school thoughts are all applicable everywhere. Okay, if you have to make somebody learn Python, I mean, why would you want somebody to and learn Python for 2 hour session and a batch of 6 months? Give them what they want to learn. Python, one query runs for 30 seconds, gone. Second query runs for 30 seconds, gone. I mean, give what exactly people want to learn.
Yes.
Don't sell something which you have. Sell something which somebody wants to buy. Somebody's in need of.
I agree. I think we had a really interesting discussion starting from your beginning of your career to how you have been trying to solve some of the major problem of India as well as world as well, right? So all the best. Definitely, I see a lot of value in person that your company, your organization, you personally can bring on to the table for most of the countries, cities, and other places as well. So all the best and looking forward, Aatish, to see you more successful and to have your time once again. And we can talk more about like how Training Inbox have done some of the more innovative thing in terms of trainings and like your other company, Phylpt, have done something in real as well, right? So great. Thank you so much. It's an interesting discussion. I didn't see the time. Almost covered 1 hour. We thought of like 30, 45 minutes time, but it was so engaging. I couldn't stop. Thank you once again. Time. It was great. Definitely, we have learned a lot. And I am sure that all our community members, not only the community member, whoever is watching, will feel at least take something out of this podcast, right? And if they're hunger, they will come back to watch again of our podcast and to learn about your training inbox or flip. Sorry.
Twister. So it's Phylpt. T is silent there. It is Phylpt. So we have made
Yeah.
it more kids friendly. Prafula, again, thank you so much. I seriously appreciate for the initiative which you've taken. I'm a recruiter. I really appreciate that. And needless to say this, that we keep ourselves engaged. We'll keep ourselves communicating and meeting up in a lot of other forums as well. For the audience who's listening to us, thank you so much for listening to us. And yes, as I always keep saying, and I'm a very big fan of Shah Rukh Khan as well. So if you really want to do something, forget about health, forget about sleep, forget about food. Just go behind your goal. Probably you may not achieve immediately, but you would definitely achieve it. Go ahead and just run behind it. Don't never ever give up on your life. Thank you so much for having me.
You, Aatish. Lovely talking to you.
Same here.